So, 2-week break, and it looks like things went to hell while I was gone. But if we talk about that, we are going to talk about that later. It just looks like North America's falling apart. The 6 November Major wrapped up its 4th and final weekend of competition on Sunday. Lots of new champions from August, some repeats, but most of the big regions had a new team rise up to take the Major crowns this time around, including the one where I predicted TSM would win live on the mainstream, and it didn't follow the curse.
I am sticking firm with Team Solo Mid on this one, Belly.
No, everything is fine. We're not going to talk about that. Everything is cool.
They win it all! Every single
Is my life alive? But before we enter the part of the year that's nothing but SI qualifiers and league finals, let's recap this major. There was yet again another $500,000 prize pool that was split amongst every region, and a ton of implications for teams to make the Six Invitational because before this event began, several teams still had not been confirmed for SI's top 16 in the standings, even if they were incredibly close. In some cases, teams were just playing for their major bracket, but if you add the additional incentive of SI global standings points that may or may not confirm if your team gets there, you gotta make the most of that opportunity. Also, the North American Major was played on LAN, and it actually went really well. You know what, let's just start with them. Despite me getting bullied and not being given a Predator laptop the entire weekend.
Think about the picture of my laptop,
Jacob.
This was probably one of the smoothest esports events run in North America all of 2020. The HyperX Arena in Las Vegas hosted all 4 teams for their mini-major in a LAN environment because SSG, TSM, Dark Zero, and OXG already have their operations based in Vegas. I think there were a few concerns over spaces being a bit cramped, but even things like rehosts and other smaller technical details were sorted out really quickly, and we even got things like tactical timeouts back. LAN Siege, dude, is the best Siege, and I will not hear any arguments to the contrary because you literally can't. It feels really good to see this style of Siege come back and watch players be as unhindered as possible, and I'm sad that Oxygen went out in the first round because this kind of energy is something I need injected into my veins right now. That was a drug joke and they were doing a cocaine. Yeah, I didn't mean to call TSM to win the whole thing, but I've gotten almost none of my predictions wrong when I make them on the main broadcast, so that was unintentional but cool, I think. But this is a really pivotal thing for TSM to have won this year. They were 3rd place at SI 2020, 2nd place in the last season of Pro League, 2nd place in 2 consecutive NAL stages, and 2nd in the August Major. So for them to crack that runner-up streak and win a major by year's end, I will call this one extremely well-deserved. One new major champ. Europe's bracket was a lot more in line with where my predictions were in the end, and I'm sorry I had to sacrifice BDS to the curse this time, but it was Empire who came away with the win. Temper went out first, Virtus Pro went out second, and at the very least I got the grand final correct, but we also saw a version of Empire that we haven't seen for a long time. And actually, at the time of recording this, they also just won the Russian Major League finals, so this probably isn't just like a temporary resurgence. And they didn't just beat BDS, they clubbed them so hard not even the major god Ren Shiro could help them win more than 5 rounds in a major grand final. If I didn't love this team so much, I'd just sooner say retire now before the pain gets worse. But I do love them, so I won't say that. Sorry, guys. Seeing Empire back in form is a really good thing, though. After the slump they've had to survive over the past year, it looks like their role changes are helping them resume their old pace. So, another new major champ. Brazil might accidentally be the region that I cursed the worst. Literally nothing in this bracket was how I called it. NIP looked like they were floundering. MIBR actually looked like a better team than them despite being the first ones out. And Team 1 did better than I anticipated. Funny part is I called Liquid to win the August Major, and I was right. They were going to win a major, but I was off by a couple of months. Congratulations, Jenna. They won a thing, and then lost the BR6 finals like 3 weeks afterwards. So I really don't know at this point who the best team in Brazil is. I'm inclined to say it's Ninjas in Pajamas because they were runners-up at SI and they won the August Major, but everyone in Brazil has been doing so good up and down the board that Liquid winning this major means that the big 4 in that region is really, really neck and neck. So, another new major champ. APAC, I'm sorry I didn't do a predictions video for. I had a lot of stuff going on up here, if you know what I mean. But they still had a really good thing going for them. APAC North I was the most curious about because I don't yet know if I qualify Cloud9 as a super strong team yet, even though they did win the August Major. They didn't get a first round bye this time, but then they looked pretty steady until they met Giants in the grand final. And Giants finally won. It's about time. Like, the whole of APAC North has followed the gatekeeper's rule of if you beat Giants, you're the best team ever, and this time, nobody could beat Giants. So there's another new major change. You see where this is going at this point? South Asia is always really cool to watch because this is the only real chance that I get to see how this sub-region develops. And if Union had won here like they did back in August, they'd be confirmed for the Six Invitational. A South Asian team would have gone to SI, but Mercenaries just had to rain on their parade, dude. Though, if you want a really good example of what kind of play this region can produce, I highly recommend you go back and you'll watch the grand final that these two had on Friday. It went to all 5 maps. I thought it was really tightly contested, and these two teams are the best in South Asia by a long shot. Seeing them play is slowly turning into like a favorite matchup of mine, but another new major champ. The only 2 regions that had a champion repeat from the August major were Mexico and Oceania. Estral met Timbers again in the grand final, and I guess they're just kings of Mexico because it doesn't look like anything can stop them, and Wildcard punched their ticket to the Invitational after defeating Okami. If Wildcard hadn't won, believe it or not, it would have been Estral going to SI in their stead, but they managed to get the dub. Chat was filled with nothing but Spanish rooting for Okami to win that night. It's the bromance no one saw coming, I guess. With the major over, all of the global standings points for the year have been rewarded, which means in no particular order, the 16 teams now confirmed for the Invitational are these 16 teams. We don't yet know the event's format or how teams are going to be placed in their groups, but remember, we also still have 4 qualifier spots that haven't been won yet because this SI is a 20-team big SI. Those should be coming soon for each team to have enough time to effectively prepare and head over to Europe in February, so keep your eyes peeled on Twitter for when those dates get announced. But overall, I think the November major was really well produced all around, and it had a lot of good play. We got a lot more accustomed over the past couple of months to how we operate from home because of the pandemic, and I hate that we couldn't see Europe utilize the Paris studio again like we did in August. However, we still got North America to play on LAN. Every team that's going to invite looks really hungry and ready, and especially with the release of Neon Dawn today, things are looking a hell of a lot brighter. Well, I wasn't able to finish the recording before my Jimmy Johns got here, but that is all from me. I'm literally not making this up. Thank you very much for allowing me a couple of weeks away after the major to focus on myself, but I do want to get back into the grind and see if we can't hit that elusive 30,000 subscriber mark, maybe by the end of the year. That'd be cool. I don't know if we can do it, but if you have any friends that haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to let them know. Appreciate you. Hit up my Twitter, my Twitch, and this YouTube channel for more in the coming days, and I will see you later. Peace.